Hey, what's happening, guys? This is Gabe Villamizar coming at you live. Thank you so much for joining me in today's sales summit. It's an honor to be here along these big names and thought leaders in the sales, marketing, and social selling industry. Again, I'm going to present about social revenue, how to close deals with Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm super passionate about it. And as you can see here on the title, again, it's Gabe Villamizar, or GV, or whatever you want to call me. And I'm the social selling manager at HireView. I do a lot of social selling training, social media management, and things of that nature at HireView. And if you have any questions, or if you like a copy of my slides or this presentation, at the bottom right, as you can see, my Twitter handle is at Gabe Villamizar. Shoot me a quick tweet, and I'll get back to you. So moving on. So here again, at Gabe Villamizar, if you want to reach out to me, and please include the hashtag Sales Summit. There's a lot of people who are talking on Twitter and continuing the conversation going. So get to know other people like you and network, and maybe you can even close some deals on Twitter by reaching out to people who are talking about this conference. But here, as you can see, I'm the guy on the left. I'm always wearing a hat. I'm not sure how that came to be, but and then people wouldn't recognize me, or had a hard time recognizing me if I took off my hat. So I started wearing a hat to work. And then a lot of people are like, dude, why don't you just wear it at the conferences? And I'm like, well, people usually dress up business casual, or super, high professional. So I started wearing it to conferences, and now, so that kind of shows literally what I look like. Just so just in case you're wondering. And to the right is our cool CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, Kevin Marasco. So again, keep the conversation going on Twitter with hashtag Sales Summit. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about today, real quick, I'm going to give you a brief introduction of where my background's from. We're going to cover some interesting and very actionable social selling stats. We're going to also cover a workflow that I've developed over the past 3 years, specifically for Twitter and LinkedIn, to find prospects, to nurture the prospects or buyer, and to essentially close deals. And then we're going to do a little Q&A at the very end if we have time for that. So a little bit of my background. I started doing sales at New Skin back in the day, and then I did bilingual sales for both South America and here in the United States. So I was passionate about it back in the day, and that's where my sales experience started. And then I joined InsideSales.com as a lead gen rep almost 3 years ago, and that's where my passion for social selling grew. I've been doing social media for the past 5 years, but social selling specifically over the past 3 years with InsideSales.com. And I worked very close with Ken Crow, helping him with his brand and Inside Sales social media brand. And that I blew that out of the water, and they've had a lot of success with all these social selling methodologies. I've also worked with Southwest marketing department and done consulting on the side for companies like Qualtrics and Canvas and by Instructure over the past years or so. So that's some of my background, just so you know. And so let's get to it. Let's talk a little bit about some stats, because some of you may either not believe in social selling or starting to jump to the social selling wagon, and it's a huge buzzword right now. And some of you want to know how to do it more effectively. So let's start with stats, right? My good friend Coca Sexton defines it very, very well. It's leveraging your professional brand to fill your pipeline with the right people, insights, and relationships. 57% of the buying process is complete before talking to sales. So, if this statistic is true, you can educate and you can find the buyer and talk to the buyer before they even have a pain, or before they even call you. So if you have the chance to do that, why not do that through social media, right? Jim Keenan, another good friend of mine, 78.6% of salespeople that leverage social media outsell their peers. He's a great, awesome sales training guy and a sales recruiting consultant as well. He did this research a few years ago, and it's an amazing statistic. And LinkedIn Sales Solutions social selling leaders are 80% more productive. And it doesn't surprise me as I tested all these strategies that I'm about to present to you. It's true, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, so before we jump in, there's this awesome research that InsideSales.com did about 3 or 4 years ago, where, as you can see here in the effectiveness at generating leads versus adoption rate. So as you know, here on the top right quadrant, how much adoption, right, and how much established value some of these channels have. So inside sales is very established with the adoption percent of over 50%. So that's why inside sales is growing so fast versus outside sales. There's even a statistic saying that by 2020, there's going to be more inside sales reps than outside sales reps. I believe that's the right statistic. I was over at the AISP conference about a few weeks ago. There's obviously trade shows, email, electronic newsletters, and things like that. And what's pretty surprising is that Twitter is all the way here at the bottom. And here's Facebook and here's LinkedIn. So what that means is that there's not a lot of adoption, or back 3-4 years ago, there hasn't been a lot of adoption, and that people don't find it effective enough. As you can see here on the X and Y quadrant, right? There was not a lot of effectiveness. Well, that has changed over the past few years with a lot of training. I've developed a few methodologies of how to nurture, how to find prospects, and how to close them. So with the right training, you should be able to see, if they were to do this study, right? Again, you should see Twitter and LinkedIn specifically more towards the 50% or more adoption rate with an effectiveness of 0.5 or more. So just bringing that out there, that it's an underutilized tool, but it has a lot of value, social media that is, specifically on LinkedIn and Twitter. So here's the nurturing process that we're going to go over. So how to optimize your social profiles, how to research the buyer, who are they, what do they like, what are their social behaviors, how to educate the buyer first, how to find their pains, connect with them, social media, and then how to commit, right? Because it's if you're not closing deals at the end of the day, it's not selling, right? So how do you do that? Okay, so just moving on here. Again, I'm going to focus on LinkedIn and Twitter. These are the top two that I found with the highest productivity and closing ratios in the B2B SaaS industry. Okay, so moving on here, please don't be like Jonathan Miller. I'm not sure who he is. Found him on LinkedIn. His LinkedIn profile sucks. I mean, look at it. He has no profile picture. He has so many fields that are not completed. Here on his UK, I'm sure this person's made up anyway, but look at, he doesn't have a customized URL. I mean, this person can do better, right? So if your profile looks like Jonathan Miller's, there's a lot of room for improvement. So for example, make sure you have the right first name and last name, whatever name it is that you go by. So my full name's Gabriel, but I go by Gabe. Okay, make sure that that's the name that you display and that you want to rank for both on Google and on LinkedIn. Because when I'm on the phone with a buyer or a partner, I tell my name's Gabe. But if I were to tell my name's Gabriel and they want to connect with me or find me on LinkedIn or Google, they're not going to be able to find me because they're typing Gabriel. Okay, make sure your title again has keywords, so that the prospect or the buyer knows who they're talking to, and that you also rank for those keywords. Number 3, make sure you complete your contact info, your work email, your phone, your work address, your Twitter account, things like that. And number 5, your summary. Make sure you have a summary. Type it in third person, because Google knows who you are as your first and last name. Google doesn't know who I or me is. So that's why I recommend, if your strategy is to rank on Google and correlate and tell Google, hey, I am this person, talk of yourself in third person. Don't do it too much because it sounds very stupid, and a lot of people give me crap for doing it. Well, what is your goal and strategy at the end of the day? If you have something in mind and you have a goal, then you want to do everything you can to reach that goal, okay? So moving on here, again, make sure that you have the right position. If you have the right company, the right logo should come up. Add rich media types. Okay, as you can see here, some slide shares or videos or cool infographics, and get recommendations. You know, the more recommendations you have, the more active you are, and that communicates over to LinkedIn, and you have a higher SSI score. Okay, so if you do those, then you're going to start ranking for your name. Hopefully, if you're a Mike Jones, it's going to take longer. It took me about 3 or 4 months to rank every single one of the search engine results on this front page for Gabe Villamizar. Okay, so again, follow companies, follow influencers, just engage so that people know who you are. Obviously, have a lot of endorsements. The way you do that is by endorsing other people. Make sure that your top skills, right, have to do with your buyer's pain points. So getting in the mind of your buyer, what do they care about? What skills would they want to see in you so that they think of you as a thought leader, or so that you come across 100% legit? That's what you want to accomplish here. Okay, and the more you endorse people, I found out, the more your face comes up in these little quadrants. So the more you endorse, this is just something I've just tested. Whenever somebody is somebody else's profile and they endorse that person, I realized that my face comes up more in these quadrants the more I endorse others. Okay, so don't be, I'm going to go through a few examples of pictures that are very, very bad. Don't be like this person that's cropped and blurry. Don't have squeezed proportions. Don't take a picture that you're miles away, and don't have an unprofessional photo. Do it with the beers. You want to communicate to your buyer that you know your stuff and that you are there to help them. And last but not least, make sure people can see your face. Poor lighting, etc. As you can see here, this is a very good example. Make sure it's these stats here on the right. Ideal size 200 by 200 or 500 by 500. Okay, so how do you optimize Twitter? Well, very simple. It's just one slide here. Make sure that you have your first and last name. Your Twitter bio has keywords. You add a few hashtags. You add a website, and that you have a background image so that it's 100% optimized and it seems like there's activity or there is activity. Again, here, these are some of the things that I just covered for Twitter, and you have them right there. Twitter background, handle, bio, job title. Make sure you add keywords like I mentioned. Be descriptive. 2 to 3 hashtags is very good, and maybe 1 to 2 handles of where you work at, the location of where you reside, and the LinkedIn profile URL under the link. Okay, so how do you do research? How do you find the person? So I recommend 3 tools that are free, and they're under the Chrome extensions. So if you're in sales and you're not using the Chrome browser, I highly recommend it. It has a lot of cool sales extensions. So number 1 is Rifle by CrowdRiff. This works awesome for Twitter. What it does, you put in somebody's username, and it gives you a lot of snapshot data and information about a company or a user. So for Starbucks, it tells me a lot of how many followers, following tweets, how many retweets they get per day, what top hashtags they're using in a certain period of time, who are they talking to the most, how many tweets do they have per day, and what platform they use to tweet. So if I have all this data, when I reach out to my prospect, I'm not going to be, quote unquote, such a stranger. I'm not going to be a weirdo that's found somebody online and just reaching out to them. So study and do your research. Again, Rifle by CrowdRiff. The next one is Connectifier. This one works both for LinkedIn and Twitter. So let's say I want to find more information about Ben Martinez, VP of Human Resources at HireVue. Then I install the plugin or extension, and then here you can see it's going to give me his email, his phone numbers, and websites, and other social media profiles that he may be connected to. Again, this is very, very valuable. Sometimes this information doesn't come up, but if it's somehow out there in the internet, this Connectifier kind of crawls through everything and connects the dots for you. And another cool one, it's 360social.me. And this one also works for Twitter and LinkedIn. And it does the same thing as Connectifier, just different UI. And if you prefer this one better, it gives you similar information. Number of connections, Twitter information. See, this one didn't give me his phone numbers, so I like Connectifier a little bit better. But these 3 tools, again, are awesome for doing your research. Okay, so how do you engage? Let's talk about the art of tweeting. So have a tweet content strategy. So don't talk about me all the time, because when you reach out to a prospect via Twitter and they come back to your Twitter profile, your timeline, if he sees that you're talking about your company 24/7, he knows you're a sales guy. He knows that you're just out there to sell him, and that's all the interest you have in that relationship. If you have a tweet content strategy as this one, which I'm not going to cover in depth, but as you can see it here, maybe take a screenshot or write this down. It's going to flow very smoothly, and the conversation is going to grow, and the sales process is going to accelerate. So these are the type of tweets that you could have. Just don't do characters and words. You can have images, videos, slide shares, and make sure you use them. You're going to stand out a lot more. As you can see in the statistic, it tells you if you have images, you get more clicks. I recommend, and this data by Social Bakers tells you that you should tweet 3 to 5 times per day, and I recommend you schedule those. And don't forget to tweet on the weekends. They have a lot of engagement because people sometimes, especially businesses, think that there's not a lot of activity on social on the weekends. Well, everybody, when they're with their family and friends, they usually sometimes take out their phones and start checking it out. Okay, so how do you tweet? This is a very good formula. Make sure you have the title, the URL, and 1 or 2 hashtags. Okay. If you add a picture, it's better, like we discussed here. And if you want to tweet at somebody, make sure you start it with the @ sign, @Coldstone. For this tweet, I was complaining at Coldstone because I had to stand in 30 minutes. They gave me a bunch of free Love It ice cream slices, so that was pretty cool. Now, if I wanted to target everybody of my followers, I don't want to start my tweet with the @ sign at the beginning. Okay. So these are some of the benefits of using hashtags. So you gain more followers because it kind of categorizes your tweet. You improve your reputation because you're associated with that specific hashtag. So if you're at an event, then it kind of tells your followers and other people who are at an event that you're there. And it helps you get more information about other people faster. Okay, let's move on here. Another awesome hashtag statistics. Let me skip some of this stuff. I want to get to the next section. As you can see here, if you add hashtags, you're going to get more retweets. Okay, how do you engage on LinkedIn? Don't be a weirdo. Make sure you personalize the invitation. By default, it's just going to be a little box that says, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. Well, you can maybe just and actually study, do some research with the tools I just told you about, and then find a common ground and customize it in a very unique way, so that way your goal is to do everything you can to connect to your buyer. Once you do that, right, in a moderate and balanced way, make sure that you engage with your buyer, right? You like their updates, you comment on their status updates, you share them, tag them in a post, you endorse their skills. Just be genuine as long as you have a conversation and develop that relationship over a few days or a few weeks. And don't overdo it, because it's going to be like, why is this person who I don't know is endorsing the crap out of me? Okay, and if you really want to go above and beyond, mention the buyer in your blog post via LinkedIn's publishing platform. That goes very, very far. Okay, so again, this is the social selling and nurturing process. So you optimize your profiles, Twitter and LinkedIn, focus on keywords, you do your research, understand who the buyer really is, what their social behaviors are like. You engage with them through Twitter and LinkedIn in a non-creepy way with the right content and educate. And then you ask them to commit. Schedule your demo and either qualify them or disqualify them. And by doing this at Inside Sales, as we saw a lot of success through this process, and it kind of reverses the whole process. Usually people call, email, and then do social. We'll do it the other way around and see what kind of results you get. Again, Gabe Villamizar, thank you so much for joining me here at the Sales Acceleration Summit. If you have any other questions, please feel free to find me via Twitter at Gabe Villamizar, and keep the conversation going on Twitter with the hashtag Sales Summit. Thanks and have a great day.